What's good, nerds? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Movie Mass. I am Brother Jay, the movie monk, the Bishop of Bull Moose, the Criterion Choir boy, all that stuff. The Vicar of Vinegar Syndrome. You think they're throttling my views because I say vicar? It's a real word, guys. V-I-C-A-R, okay? I'm not trying to be like that, okay, YouTube? Show my video to more people. It's vicar, it's a real word. Look it up. Anyway. With the vast majority of 2026 ahead of us, I have spent some time recently thinking about what movies I would like to spend my precious money on. What movies would I like to piss my wife off by buying in 2026? And we all have our wish lists. I'm certainly interested in hearing your wish list. You got comments down below. You can make your wish list known. But these are the movies that I would jizz my pants to get on 4K in 2026. These films do not currently have 4Ks. A few of them have Blu-rays, and I'll mention those as honorable mentions. But many of these are locked still on DVDs. Some of these are DVDs that I've had for 20 or more years. And they're good films. They're films that really, I think, could benefit from the 4K, if for no other reason than DVD looks like trash on a 4K. I'm sorry. If you got an OLED or a nice Samsung or something, and you're watching a DVD, it probably does not look as good as a 4K does. And then B, some of these releases, some of these films are released or were released on a Blu-ray or a DVD so long ago that those are now out of print, and a new 4K release for $40 would be cheaper than what some of these films are going for online, believe it or not, in a bare bones Blu-ray release, which is really sickening to me. So I despise seeing out of print DVDs and Blu-rays that are really nothing special going for $60, $70, $80 on the internet simply because of scarcity. So I think new 4K releases for these would also alleviate some of that and allow people to purchase these movies and enjoy these movies on a more modern format that's going to look better at a more affordable, friendly price, because nobody likes paying scalpers. Fuck those guys. So for honorable mentions, I got a couple. These are the real obvious ones, right? You're probably already screaming these at your computer. You're like, say it already. Say Commando. Say Commando. Okay, I'm going to say Commando. Look at this DVD of Commando. I've had this for like 20 years. Look at that old-ass DVD. I would love a 4K of Commando because Arnold Schwarzenegger, because 80s action, because lit up some steam, Bennett. You know, I think we need this one on 4K. We've got a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger films on 4K. A lot of them are in 4K steelbooks, I might add, like Last Action Hero, Running Man, Terminator, Terminator 2, Total Recall. I've got a ton of Arnold Schwarzenegger films on 4K in steelbook format, and I would love to add this one to that list. Steelbook, 4K, please friggin' make it happen. It's stuck on a Blu-ray from 10 years ago, or even 12 years ago, I don't know. But we need a 4K of Commando. I'm afraid we may or may not see that one. It's Fox after all, so that's probably why we don't have a 4K yet, because this is down Goofy's pants right now. This is right next to Goofy's third nut. Anyway, the other honorable mention I got for you is Strange Days. Of course, I was going to say Strange Days. You knew it already. This is probably the one that you were screaming at your computer and or your phone. I hope you didn't upset your family or the strangers on the bus next to you as you were screaming at your device. But Strange Days is locked on DVD. There's not even a Blu-ray of this in the United States. There might be a Blu-ray in Spain or something you can get your hands on, maybe. But right now, United States, you can get the DVD. I think I got this, I don't know, I bought this used for $8 or something. So, you know, at least it's inexpensive. But, I mean, look at this. There's just nothing going on in there. Don't we need an Arrow? This one feels ripe for Arrow. It's another 20th Century Fox, though. I think that's going to be a theme for this stack of movies I got next to me, is a lot of these are just in Scrooge McDuck's Disney vault. He's swimming around in movies that we should have on 4K instead of Scrooge McDuck rubbing his duck balls all over our 4Ks that we should have. Anyway, fingers crossed. It would be lovely. It seems like Strange Days would be ripe for Arrow. Like, what a double feature that would be with Dark City, something like that. I doubt, since it's 20th Century Fox, it's owned by Disney. I'm guessing Disney does one of those Sony puts out the Steelbook like they did with Tombstone, since it's one of their catalog titles. If we get lucky this year, I think realistically, maybe we see Commando, maybe we see Strange Days come out from a Sony Steelbook release, a limited Steelbook release for 50 bucks on Amazon. But hey, it's better than nothing. Now for the proper list. I hope all of these aren't 20th Century Fox films, but the first one I've got for you, it's got a creative little slipcover on it too, and that is Thank You for Smoking. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Thank You for Smoking. It's Aaron Eckhart. David Koechner is in this movie as well a little bit. Frickin' Sam Elliott is in here for a little bit. Katie Holmes, Rob Lowe. Look at this cast of characters. So this is just a great comedy film of the, I want to say this is early 2000s, like 03, 04, maybe somewhere in the mid-aughts, but they've got this creative little slipcase that's designed to look like a package of cigarettes, but then there's a cutout here in the center. So I'll never get rid of this DVD, although I would like to see this on 4K, where there you go, the DVD slides out. There are some special features here, like a director and cast commentary, which is always nice to see, as well as some interviews with the cast. But, you know, it would always be nice to have like a retrospective, some new interviews and or a new commentary on this one. This is an enjoyable film. I don't know if you've seen Thank You for Smoking, but it's a great film. And I think it gives you like cause to think about why criminal defense is an important right for the United States judicial system. So it's the type of movie we all agree smoking is bad. We all agree tobacco is bad. I don't smoke tobacco. I don't smoke tobacco. Other things maybe, but tobacco, no. Obviously, this film is kind of about a guy who defends an industry that's really terrible for you, and people see him as this merchant of death. Great film, very funny film, even a little bit thought-provoking. Aaron Eckhart before he kind of started doing shitty movies. Robert Duvall is in this movie a little bit too. You see that name right there? Robert Duvall, that's cool. I like Robert Duvall. So hopefully we'll see Thank You for Smoking get an upgrade. Here is an example of just what I was talking about. I'm holding in my hands, just below the frame, a DVD that I bought at least 15 years ago. I want to say I bought this like circa 2010. So this is at least 15 or 16 years ago that I bought this DVD. This DVD is now out of print, and it costs $70, I think, on Amazon. There it is. Goyokin. Goyokin, look at how badass that cover is, though. You got the Japanese going down the center, so you've got that like vertical symmetry, but then you've also got this horizontal symmetry of the samurai facing down in the snow. Dude's got the swords out and shit. I'm just a sucker for this kind of samurai shit. I am a sucker for the samurai shit. And Goyokin is a Hideo Gosha film. A lot of Gosha's films have been coming out on Blu-ray, actually, even from partner labels. Film Movement Classics has put out a few of his films, made a few available, and I think Arrow has made a few of his films available. He has a very long career spanning several decades. So there's a lot of his work that is available. This is one that is not very available. I mean, this DVD that I'm holding in your hands would cost you $70 or so to buy today for a DVD. And that is a travesty, in my opinion. Check out that disc. That, $70. You think that's worth $70? I don't think that's worth $70 personally, but I think this one would be great for Film Classics Movement. I think Arrow could put this out with no problem. I think Criterion could put this out with no problem. I'd love to see it on a 4K. But even a Blu-ray, I would not complain about, because if you could get a $28 Blu-ray of Goyokin, that beats the shit out of paying $70 for a DVD from 16 years ago. And I would love to see a beautiful slipcover on that bad boy. The next one that I would really love to see get an upgrade is also stuck on DVD, but it's a film that I think maybe people might be a little bit afraid to touch these days. That is PCU. I have my old DVD copy. This is a film that was in constant rotation in the 90s. This was on Comedy Central every week, I want to say, in the 90s. I saw this on Comedy Central for the first time before obviously getting it on DVD some years later in the early 2000s, I picked up this DVD. This very much has the look of an early 2000s. Like, this is kind of retro now. Like, it has the look of one of these early 2000s DVDs. But it's a great film. Maybe not on the level of some of these other films that I'm going to show you in a moment. It's a funny film. It's an entertaining film. They throw meat at vegans, and I'm sorry if it's not a popular thing to say in this day and age, but I like that sort of thing. I like the idea of stealing a bunch of raw meat, getting to the top of a tower above a vegan protest, and throwing a bunch of raw meat at a bunch of vegans. And I don't even have a problem with vegans. I eat semi-vegetarian, actually. I don't eat meat on every single day. Some days I eat vegan. However, the idea of like a bunch of, bullhorn vegan, like, meat is murder type of annoying fuckers getting covered with meat, I love that idea. And maybe that makes me a shitlord. If the shoe fits, I'm an asshole. I think PCU is funny. I also think there is a possibility that just in today's sensitive day and age, we don't throw meat at vegans. And so this film might contain shenanigans that are just unpopular in this day and age. However, I think Porky's got a Blu-ray. I think I know Revenge of the Nerds has a Blu-ray because I bought it. Revenge of the Nerds has a Blu-ray. So why not PCU? I would love to see a 4K of PCU. I would buy the shit out of a 4K of PCU. Imagine if Vinegar Syndrome they said, dirty work, sold pretty damn good. Let's do that with PCU. Let's give everybody a beautiful version of PCU. I'd buy that in a heartbeat. I'd do a goddamn backflip. The next one I want to show you, the next film I got, that it's actually stuck on Blu-ray. This film has a domestic US Blu-ray. I don't care. This is a beautiful film. And it deserves better than Blu-ray. It deserves a really properly done 4K. I would love to see Criterion pour a wealth of resources into the restoration of this. I would love to see Arrow do a chunky box set. You know what I'm saying? Chunky box set with a rigid slipcover. Thick, juicy and thick. I would love to see, I don't know, this probably falls maybe a little bit prestigious for Vinegar Syndrome, but I still think they would touch it, and that is Hero. This is a Zhang Yimou film starring Jet Li, Maggie Cheung, Tony Leung, Zhang Ziyi, as well as Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is in this. The fight scene between Donnie Yen and Jet Li is worth the price of admission alone. I did see this in theaters when it was originally distributed here in the US. I think Miramax got a hold of this and did a theatrical distribution here in the US. It was a couple of years after Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I want to say it was like 2-3 years later. Of course, Miramax is going to give this a theatrical run. I lived in Atlanta at the time, so we pretty much got everything. If it was a limited run, typically we would see that in Atlanta. I mean, look at this. I won't be able to get rid of this DVD either because look at that embossed lettering where it says Hero, and the way the light goes over that, it has that beautiful metallic look to it. And of course, the art direction, cinematography on this film is impeccable, especially the art direction. I mean, this film is one that would, maybe more than any of the others I'm going to discuss today, benefit from that high dynamic range, that really like crisp, vibrant, saturated color. I think is exactly what Zhang Yimou had in mind when he made this film. And so I would love to see a really proper 4K. I mean, Blu-ray is nice and all, but come on, give me a beautiful 4K of this thing. This does have some special features on this DVD. I don't know what's available on the Blu-ray, but I would love to see there's no, for instance, there's no commentary. Maybe Zhang Yimou doesn't speak a lot of English. I don't know if he's doing an English language commentary. I don't know. He's still with us. He's still alive, so hypothetically it's possible. But, you could get a film historian. You could get experts on Hong Kong cinema to do a commentary or two for this one. I think this would make a lovely Arrow chunky box or even Vinegar Syndrome, and I would certainly buy it from Criterion. I mean, Jet Li is just a badass in this one. He's kind of the man with no name, but the Chinese version. In fact, they call him nameless in this film. He doesn't go by a name. He just kind of shows up, real silent, fucks everyone's shit up. If you haven't seen Hero, stop what you're doing, pause this video. I'm not going to be offended. go get a copy of Hero, find this, watch this in the best quality you possibly can on the best television you own, because Hero is a very fine film. The art direction, like I said, is beautiful. It's a martial arts film, yes, but it is a really beautiful, really lushly photographed martial arts film. So I have to recommend it even to people who don't necessarily love martial arts films. You like looking at beautiful pictures? Hero, my dog. Here's another one that's stuck on Blu-ray. That Blu-ray is going for $56 on Amazon as of this recording, so it needs a reprint. That is The Count of Monte Cristo. You can see I've got the old DVD right here. This is the version of The Count of Monte Cristo with Guy Pearce in it. It's got, Jim Caviezel. It's got Richard Harris, R.I.P. Richard Harris. This was before he passed. I love Richard Harris, not just because he's Dumbledore, but you know, the guy had a ball and musical career as well. And it's even got a young, Superman in this one. This one's with Disney as well, I believe. I think this one is with Disney too. So cross your fingers. Maybe this comes out this year, maybe not. It's ripe for a re-release. Maybe we get a nice 4K steelbook. I'm crossing my fingers. You know, every year it seems like Disney they're not releasing like a whole tsunami of these older kind of catalog titles, but it seems like maybe once a month they'll drop a catalog title in a 4K on us, and maybe this is the year we get lucky with Count of Monte Cristo. You know, who knows? That's the theme of today, is that Disney does not like giving us what we want, which is 4Ks of Grosse Pointe Blank. I think this is a kind of quintessential 90s film. This was something of a comeback for John Cusack. I mean, I think he was fairly big in the 80s, as we know. He made a lot of those kind of teen comedies, and I think with The Grifters, he sort of transitioned into a little bit more serious adult genre of filmmaking. But I think maybe the early 90s was kind of a cooler time for him. And so when Grosse Pointe Blank came out, I don't think it's a coincidence that this is centered on a 10-year high school reunion, that it's kind of a reminder of, hey, you remember this guy? He was in all those high school teen comedy films in the 80s. Well, now it's the mid-90s. He's making a comeback in a film that is referential of that genre he was once a part of. Now he's a hitman stabbing Benny the Jet Urquidez to death with a pen in the hallway of his old high school. He did it first, John Wick. He killed Benny the Jet Urquidez with a pen, and I'm sorry if that's a spoiler, but this movie came out in like 1996, so kiss my whole ass on spoilers. It's a 30-year-old movie. If I just spoiled a 30-year-old movie for you, what have you been doing for the last 30 years? I don't even feel bad. Grosse Pointe Blank, I want a 4K. Disney's got this one as well, so who knows? It's got Dan Aykroyd in it. It's got Minnie Driver. She got the same name as the mouse. Maybe that's why Disney doesn't want to release it. They don't want people getting confused. Alan Arkin is in this bitch. I think this is a film that I think it would look great on 4K. I would buy the shit out of a 4K steelbook of Grosse Pointe Blank. It's a fun movie, I think. It's a fun movie. I like looking at it as a comeback film for Cusack. I like John Cusack's films most of the time, and I think this one is like a lot of fun. Yes, there is some murder in it, but it's a lot of fun, which I think is cool. Now, here's another one that is stuck on DVD in the US. I believe Australia has a Blu-ray of this, but we don't here in the United States. And my homeboy Chase from AV Pop Culture has actually a few times recently said that this one would be a great 4K upgrade, and I couldn't agree more. And that's Pumping Iron. And I know it's a documentary, and I feel like a lot of the Blu-tubers here on YouTube don't talk a ton about documentaries, maybe as a special feature. It's nice when you get a documentary included, like the Monster Squad 4K release has The Wolfman Has Nards included. I like that. I think that's cool. But as far as like standalone documentaries go, I feel like it's a little bit of an underserved genre. I feel like people might have one or two documentaries that they really, really like, but unlike schlocky 80s horror movies with tons of fake blood and titties, this is not a genre that people watch like every week. You know, like it's a genre that people maybe visit a couple times a year. And so I think Pumping Iron, as far as documentaries go, this is one of the most entertaining documentaries you're going to watch. I mean, it is one of those documentaries that is hard to look away from. It's hard to stop watching. It's very infectious. The personalities are very infectious, and even though it does kind of feel like Arnold's playing a little bit of a role here, what you get from Arnold in the 80s, the later 80s and 90s is kind of, I think, engineered. I think he engineered his personality a little bit, his persona, his public persona to be maybe a little bit more family friendly. He had political aspirations. You know, he wants to be the kind of guy that you can vote for me for governor and you can take your kids to see Jingle All the Way and stuff like that, and Batman and Robin. And I think watching this movie, you get an idea of like, oh, Arnold's actually a freak. And we found that out in more recent years with the whole, you know, like Accidental Son with the maid and all this shit that came out recently. I think, you know, there definitely is a side to Arnold that maybe we didn't get a lot of because we didn't have the internet in the late 80s and early 90s. But now we kind of, you see that here. You see that here. There's a lot of iconic dialogue in here. And if you don't want to immediately go join a gym and lift some weights after you watch this movie, you don't have a dick. So Pumping Iron, I'd love to see a 4K of this. I would buy it instantly. I think that would be, I don't know, that would really make me smile to see a 4K of Pumping Iron. So you never know. Maybe if there's enough demand out there. Vinegar Syndrome, I think, would do a great job with a Pumping Iron 4K. I mean, I think even Criterion could get away with that. The type of shit that Criterion's releasing nowadays, I think Criterion 20 years ago, they couldn't pull off Pumping Iron. But nowadays, I think we're living in the Wild West. Speaking of Wild West, Idiocracy is stuck on DVD. Can you believe that? Idiocracy is stuck on DVD. There's not even a Blu-ray of this movie. And this is a prescient film. I'm not entirely sure that Mike Judge isn't from the future. Because you see this movie, I mean, I saw this when it was brand new. It had just come, I didn't see it in the theaters, but it had just come out on DVD. And gosh, you can see what era it came out in based on what they're advertising inside the DVD. And this little insert that came with the DVD contains advertisements. Look, Grandma's Boy. So this actually, Grandma's Boy was 06. So this DVD must be from like 06-ish, around that era. I've had this for probably 20 years, but at any rate, this is a prescient film because, you know, watching it 20 years ago, seeing Camacho as president of the United States, thinking like, no way. But then the current president used to be on reality TV. So anything could it feels like anything could happen. It also feels like this film predicts a dumbing down that I think a lot of us fear in some ways because of the preponderance of like short form content on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. It's like every single social media platform a couple of years ago just freaked out and had to put in like 60-second content. And I feel like, you know, you look at young people these days, and if it doesn't catch them in the first 2.5 seconds, it's like, okay, I'm moving on. And it is, it's wild to see now as a parent watching my young children, how they interact with media. I don't think my children are dumb at all. In fact, I think my children are insanely smart, which they get from me and their mom. But what I am saying is that there are these like social influences in the world around us that kind of push and pull society in certain directions. And this film is hilarious. It's hilarious. Also, at the same time, I'm not even sure that it's completely impossible that in 100 years we might be feeding Gatorade to plants because we've just forgotten how to do everything. Because do you even know how to grow your own crops? I don't. I've got a tomato and cucumber garden upstairs, but that's it. Idiocracy. This would be great to see on a 4K. I would love to see this one on 4K. I think it's a funny film. I think it does have a little bit of like prescient social satire there. I'm sorry for clicking this thing right in the microphone. I should stop fidgeting with it. I'm going to set it down so that I do not produce any more unwanted sounds. Another film that I'd really love to see on 4K, and I think this one is high likelihood this year. I actually feel very good about this one because there is a 4K in Italy of this one that came out last December, just a month ago. This came out on 4K in Italy. That's Once Upon a Time in America. I feel like I want to add the 4K of this film to my Once Upon a Time in, insert word here, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in the West, Once Upon a Time in America, Once Upon a Time in China. I got the Once Upon a Time in China's up there. Once Upon a Time in Mickey Mouse's Pants. He stuffed all the movies in there, and we didn't get any 4Ks. That's the documentary they need to make. But this is kind of an uncomfortable film. Sergio Leone film. It's got James Woods. It's got Tuesday Weld. I love the name Tuesday. I don't know why. I love that. It's like His Girl Friday. Her name is Friday? Really? You named your daughter Friday? Tuesday. I love the idea. Tuesday Weld is in this film. I love the idea of, if I have another daughter, I promise you, and if my wife is watching, this is not a joke. This is not for humor. Our next daughter's name is Tuesday. Boom. Done. Let it be written. Let it be so. So I'd love to see a 4K of this. It's an uncomfortable film. Joe Pesci's in this. That is wild. So, I mean, look, it's a seminal gangster work, but it is a gangster film that does not shy away from the more gruesome realities of that particular life of crime. There are films occasionally, things like the Godfather films. Yes, people get killed in the Godfather films. However, most of the time, somebody like Vito Corleone seems like Robin Hood. He's robbing from the rich to give to the poor type of thing. And you know, the only way you're getting yourself killed in a Godfather type of world is if you cross the wrong people. If you're respectful and you stay in your lane, they're not going to prey upon you. And Once Upon a Time in America, everybody's fair game. You're getting bent over the desk. This is a metaphor for life, and really a wild film. There is a Blu-ray of this, of course. It's been a while. I think the Blu-ray was released in, I don't know, 2015, 2016, 2017. It's been nearly a decade since the release of the Blu-ray. It's another one that's kind of hard to get, and it has that garish blue, like plasticky. I don't like it. This DVD release at least has like a nice, again, kind of one of these early slipcase releases. I think I bought this 20 years ago. I think this was like 04, 05 when I bought this. Maybe 04, 03 maybe. I bought this many, many years ago. And it is, you know, nicer. It's got like the digipack. Look at this thing fold out. You got De Niro and Woods' characters, and then it folds out again to reveal the discs. And this is back in the day of DVD, so you know that second disc is all special features. I'm not going to be able to get rid of this, but I would love to see like a really nice 4K of, you know, a nice edition that has like the slipcase and everything like that. I think would be lovely to see for Once Upon a Time in America. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows if we'll get it or not? It's a Warner Brothers film, so if we're lucky, maybe we'll get to see it this year. Now, here's the big one. Here's the one. This is the big one. I really want a 4K of this one. Maybe more than anything else on this list. We need a 4K of this next movie. This is a film that easily in my top 10, possibly in my top 5. I love this movie. One summer in, I think it was in elementary school, it must have been, I don't know, 5th grade, 4th grade. The summer after 4th grade, let's say, I watched this movie every single day. I put this movie on, I don't know, like 11 a.m., 10 a.m. I, you know, get up, have some breakfast, watch Big Trouble in Little China, and then have some lunch and then go to the pool. That was a summer. And I did not know how good I had it back then. I would go back to that in a heartbeat because I'd love to get up, pour a big bowl of Cap'n Crunch or Fruity Pebbles or something like that, watch this movie, and then go to the pool. I don't have to go very far. I have a pool now. I own Big Trouble in Little China. I own cereal, and I own a pool, and yet somehow I can't make that happen, right? Because I'm a respectable adult. I can't get up on a Tuesday, watch Big Trouble in Little China at 10 a.m. while my wife is working, and then go jump in the pool. My marriage would not last much longer if I pulled that kind of shenanigans. You got to maintain your spouse's respect at all times, okay? So Big Trouble in Little China. Scream Factory gave us a Blu-ray. This is a 20th Century Fox. This is owned by Disney, so we've just got to pray to the mouse gods that we're going to get our hands on a 4K of this. I doubt they're going to let Scream Factory have it to do like a 4K upgrade. Chances are good that if we get Big Trouble in Little China on 4K, it's going to come from Disney-Sony collaboration in a steelbook, and I would not mind a steelbook. I would love a chunky box or something like that. I think this one would be great for Vinegar Syndrome as well, but I don't believe that Disney will be licensing that one out. They don't do a ton of that, so it's always safer money to bet that Disney's just going to put it out themselves if they feel like it, and it's an even safer bet to bet that they don't feel like it. Disney does not GAF what I think, regrettably, even though I think they should. Anyway, those are the movies that I would love to see 4Ks of this year. Do you guys agree? What do you guys think about my list? Also, is there any titles in your collection that you would love to see upgraded to 4K this year that I didn't mention? I would love to see what you think as well. So let me know in the comments below. Let's have a dialogue, baby. Anyway, I will finish this off. This is probably warm now, even though I got my AVA Pop Culture koozie on it, keeping my fingers warm. I'd like to thank these folks for being patrons. Thank you guys for doing the right thing, really. Really, you guys are doing the right thing. I thank you. I drink this in your honor. Thanks for watching the video, y'all. Peace. I'll catch you on the next one. Adios. Boom, I forgot. I got my Big Trouble in Little China shirt on. I did that on purpose. Look at that. I coordinated with my shit. Boo. Adios, y'all.